Okay. Now, let me just explain to you why all of that. So here's what happens, right? So the real reason as to why Mexicans actually converted, it starts with Cortez's invasion of the Yucatan Peninsula. Mm-hmm. So once he goes there, he deals with, what's considered, one of the last emperors, Montezuma.
Right.
And just so you know, they actually eventually not only learned how to communicate, but there's accounts of not only Montezuma saying we came from the east, but the reason why Cortez was even able to navigate the entire area was because they charted the entire area. He gave them maps of the entire eastern seaboard. So you acting like there's this communication breakdown. Mm-hmm. No, over time they learned how to communicate. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So from there, here's what really happened. There was like a council of foreign Indian relations, right? So you got Ferdinand and Isabella and the whole Spanish Inquisition. They're sending correspondence letters back and forth. With these correspondence letters, they're saying, okay, well, who are these people? If you're able to prove, any type of humanity, then you can't enslave them. Mm-hmm. Cortez, finding the riches, the gold, the vast opportunity to take over this new world, you know what he decides to do? He says, okay, I'm going to have this guy named Gomorrah, you know what I'm saying? His name was Luis de Gomorrah, write a chronicle about New Spain. This is basically what they were calling Mexico at the time. Right. So he says, what we're going to do is we're going to slander the natives. They said that the natives performed human sacrifice. They were savages. They were the source of syphilis, which is absolutely insane to come from a European. It runs down this entire list to say they run around naked. This is why Mel Gibson's depicting these people as savages in Apocalypto. Right. But we can find carvings of Mayan dignitaries in full garb, head to toe. You know what I'm saying? And now, because of this, they said, well, okay, enslave them. And what they wanted to do was, they said, what you're going to do is you're going to civilize them by forcing them to become Christian. And a part of that was enslavement. Now, what we also find is we find people who are contemporary to these accounts who didn't want to make money off of the slave trade. Bartholomew de la Casa is one of them. And he turned around and he was supposed to be like a quote unquote humanitarian. And he described the brutal punishment, the forcing of them to be able to convert to Christianity, the enslavement, them being fed and ripped apart by dogs, the rape, murder, pillage, and plunder that they've done. He wasn't the only one. Diego Duran was another one. It was a list of different quote unquote priests, friars, laymen who all categorized this and chronicled it for us to be able to actually see what transpired. So like your story about this peaceable conversion initially is really bullshit because they enslaved this people. After they destroyed the islands of the Caribbean, once they come over there, then forget about by the time they get to the Incas. I have all the correspondence letters. So what you're saying isn't true. And a lot of this stuff is damn near like the stories you're telling is like when they say Columbus discovered America. Like when you go and you read the accounts of them believing that the Spanish were gods because of their armor, them never seeing horses before, this all comes from Gomorrah's book. Because this was a part of the slander, and once again, history is written by the winners. So when people go back to look at these records, they look at what the captors say, what the oppressors say. So, cool story, bro, that the Catholic Church made. But when you look at those who weren't profiting off of the slave trade, who were actually just quote unquote humanitarians to the natives, they describe nothing but brutality.